Hey Gospel Connection family, are you ready for a breakthrough that will not just change your life, but also reaffirm your faith? Let's dive deep and prepare for the blessings on their way with some practical, life-changing steps. My beloved children, I spoke to you before about the financial breakthrough you would experience by the appointed time. The days are drawing closer, and I know you carry both hope and uncertainty in your hearts. Today, I want to guide you deeper into understanding how to prepare yourselves as the promises I have spoken begin to unfold. In the first message, I assured you that your financial burdens would lift. Many of you have prayed faithfully, held on to hope, and prepared your hearts to receive. But what should you do as that blessed day approaches? How can you align your thoughts, habits, and spirit with the blessings I am about to pour out? Let me show you the path forward. First, hold steadfast in your faith. You have taken the initial step of trust. Do not waver now. As the time draws near, you may feel a surge of doubts. What if nothing changes? What if my prayers remain unanswered? This is when faith must stand firm. Remember the scriptures. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Even if you haven't yet witnessed the manifestation of your blessing, trust that I am moving on your behalf. This unwavering faith is like a seed planted in fertile soil. Nurture it and watch it grow strong. Second, cultivate a spirit of patience and surrender. Sometimes, as the moment of breakthrough nears, human nature urges you to take matters into your own hands or to rush the process. Resist that urge. True surrender means releasing control and allowing me to work in my perfect timing. Look to the story of the Israelites who marched around the walls of Jericho, faithfully following my instructions day after day, even when nothing appeared to be changing. In the same way, continue your faithful steps. Rest in the knowledge that I am never late. My beloved child, let us delve deeply into what it means to cultivate this spirit of patience and surrender, for I know this is not an easy task. Patience is not simply the act of waiting. It is the posture of your heart during that waiting. It is about how you manage your thoughts, your emotions, and your trust when the answers you long for remain unseen. You live in a world that moves at a fast pace, where immediate results are glorified and where waiting is often seen as a burden. Yet in my kingdom, waiting is neither wasteful nor without profound purpose. In truth, waiting can be one of the greatest acts of faith you will ever perform. When I ask you to be patient, I am not asking you to do nothing. Rather, I am inviting you to step out of the frantic scramble of human striving and into the calm assurance of divine timing. Consider the nature of surrender. To surrender is not to lose, but to gain. It is to open your hands and release your grip on outcomes that you cannot ultimately control. When you surrender, you offer me your trust, and in return, I offer you peace. Surrendering to my will is not about passivity. It is about cooperation. It is aligning your will with mine, walking in step with me, rather than running ahead or lagging behind. Your human nature often screams for action. When you stand at the edge of a breakthrough, be it financial relief, emotional healing, restoration of relationships, or the fulfillment of a long-held dream, your instincts may tell you to push harder, do more, force the issue, try any method to make things happen now. You may believe that if you just add a bit more effort, find a new strategy, or manipulate circumstances, you can hasten the arrival of your blessing. But I tell you, child, that blessings forced outside of my timing rarely bring the fullness of joy they are meant to carry. A fruit picked before it is ripe is hard and tasteless. A door forced open before the appointed hour may lead to a room you are not prepared to occupy. When you insist on controlling the timing, you are like someone who tries to hurry the sunrise by shouting at the horizon, not realizing that the grand orchestration of light and dark, day and night, is beyond human manipulation. Patience and surrender are deeply connected because they both rest on trust in my character. When I say I am never late, I speak a truth that is rooted in my eternal perspective. I see the end from the beginning. I know the precise moment when your heart is ready to receive what I have prepared for you. Sometimes what is at stake is not just the blessing itself, but your capacity to handle it. Perhaps I am using this season of waiting to strengthen your character, to refine your motives, or to deepen your relationship with me. Perhaps I am orchestrating circumstances so that the breakthrough, when it comes, will not just affect you, but also touch the lives of many others. My blessings often have ripple effects that you cannot see from your vantage point. To trust my timing is to trust that I am weaving a tapestry far greater than the single thread you see in front of you. Look closely at the story of the Israelites and the walls of Jericho. They had crossed the Jordan River and stood on the brink of the Promised Land, a place I had promised them long before. Jericho was a city fortified with walls so tall and thick that to human eyes its defeat seemed impossible. I gave them a set of instructions that must have seemed strange: to march around the city walls once a day for 6 days, and then 7 times on the 7th day, and then to shout. From a military perspective, this was illogical. There were no siege engines, no battering rams, no direct assaults. They simply walked quietly at first, day after day. Each day they marched, it must have seemed to some as if nothing was happening. The walls did not crack on the first day, nor the second, nor the third. Perhaps some grew restless. Perhaps they wondered if they should try something else. Yet they continued to follow my instructions, trusting my promise. This story is a picture of patient surrender. The Israelites had to let go of their own strategies and timetables. They had to trust that I knew what I was doing, even though it appeared that I was doing nothing at all. Their marching was not passive waiting. It was obedient waiting. They were not standing still. They were walking in faith. Each day they circled those walls. They reaffirmed their trust that I was in control. They surrendered their desire to take immediate action and allowed me to bring the victory in my perfect time. On the 7th day, after faithful obedience, the moment came. At my command, they raised a mighty shout. Suddenly, those walls that had seemed impenetrable tumbled down. Victory was not achieved through human force, but through faithful surrender to my plan and timing. What if they had tried to storm the walls on the 3rd day, impatient and desperate? They would have likely met defeat or frustration. By waiting for my timing, they not only won the battle but did so in a way that left no doubt about the source of their victory. I want you to think of your own Jericho. What is that barrier in your life life that seems insurmountable? What is that opportunity or solution that seems perpetually out of reach? As you approach the promised breakthrough, remember the Israelites. Remember how they learned that obedience, patience, and trust bring down walls that human strength cannot. The silence of their first 6 days of marching was not empty silence. It was filled with trust, with anticipation, with surrender. That is the posture I desire for you. To cultivate patience and surrender, you must also learn to quiet the voices of anxiety and fear. Fear will whisper that you must act now or lose everything. Anxiety will insist that if you do not control the situation, it will spiral out of hand. But I tell you that I hold your situation in my hands. The plans I have for you are good. Even when you do not see immediate results, trust that something is happening beneath the surface. Seeds grow underground before they break through the earth. A child grows silently in the womb before being born into the world. Many of my works unfold behind the scenes, in the secret places, before they become visible to your eyes. It is also important to reflect on what surrender truly means. Surrender is not resignation or giving up on life. It does not mean you stop dreaming or cease striving for excellence. It means placing your dreams, efforts, and timelines under my lordship. It means acknowledging that I am wiser, stronger, and more loving than you can comprehend. You surrender not because you have no other choice, but because you recognize that my ways are higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. When you surrender, you are setting aside the heavy burden of trying to force outcomes and embracing the freedom of trusting me. Do not believe that I take pleasure in making you wait. I know that waiting can be difficult, but I also know the immeasurable value of what waiting produces in you. Patience refines your faith like fire refines gold. It burns away impurities such as impatience, entitlement, and fear. It teaches you to rely on my faithfulness, not your own strength. It shows you that you are part of a grand narrative, a divine story that stretches beyond your immediate circumstances. When you learn to wait patiently, you learn to live in harmony with my rhythms instead of struggling against them. Consider also that patience and surrender are not just virtues for times of impending breakthroughs. They are qualities I desire to see in you throughout your entire life. When you learn these lessons now, you will be better equipped for future challenges. Times of waiting will always come. Seasons of uncertainty are part of the human experience. But as your trust in me grows, you will find that these seasons no longer terrify you. You will come to see them as fertile ground for miracles, opportunities for intimacy with me, and spaces in which your faith can mature. In your waiting, seek me, listen to me, and cherish the journey. Sometimes, in your eagerness to reach the destination, you miss the beauty of the path itself. Patience and surrender help you slow down and notice my presence in each step. They help you grow in wisdom and compassion. They teach you empathy, as you realize that many others around you are also waiting for their breakthroughs, and you learn to encourage one another. A community that practices patient surrender becomes a beacon of hope in a hurried world. It demonstrates that real peace is possible, that strength can come through stillness, and that miracles often blossom in the soil of trust. When you rest in the knowledge that I am never late, you affirm the truth of my sovereignty and love. I created time. I stand outside of it, and yet enter into it to walk with you. I know when to open doors and when to close them. I know when to say yes, when to say no, and when to say wait. Every door I open is for your ultimate good, and every door I keep shut is to protect you or to redirect you towards something better. By trusting that I am never late, you free yourself from the chains of panic and impatience. You stop looking at the clock with anxiety and start looking at me with confidence. Patience also expands your capacity to enjoy the blessings when they come. If I gave you everything you asked for the moment you asked for it, you might not appreciate it fully. You might take it for granted. But when you have waited, prayed, and persevered, the arrival of the blessing fills you with gratitude and awe. You recognize my hand in it, and this recognition strengthens our relationship. You celebrate not only the gift, but the giver. Your testimony then encourages others to trust in me, passing the gift of faith forward. Let me give you another example. Consider Abraham and Sarah. They waited many years for the promised child, Isaac. During their waiting, doubts arose, and at one point they took matters into their own hands, resulting in complications. Yet despite their human failings, I remained faithful. In my perfect timing, Isaac was born, and through him, countless descendants came forth. Their season of waiting and eventual surrender became a cornerstone of faith for generations to come. Their story is told and retold to remind you that my promises never fail, though they often unfold over years rather than moments. Reflect on David, anointed as a young shepherd boy to be king. He waited many years, enduring hardships, living as a fugitive, and serving faithfully under a king who did not value him. He could have tried to seize the throne by force or abandon the call altogether. Instead, he waited for my timing. By the time he ascended to the throne, he had been shaped by the wilderness, by trials, and by trust. He became a king who understood both leadership and dependence on me. If he had rushed the process, he would not have become the leader after my own heart that he is remembered as today. Consider Mary and Martha weeping for their brother Lazarus who lay dying. They called for Jesus, and they waited. He did not arrive when they expected. It seemed too late. Yet, when he did come, he performed a greater miracle than they could have imagined. He raised Lazarus from the dead, revealing my glory in a way that would be remembered for all time. The waiting heightened the impact of the miracle. It showed that I operate beyond the limits that humans place on time and possibility. It proved that I am never late, even if I come after everyone else has given up hope. In your own life, think of the ways you have grown in previous seasons of waiting. Remember times you felt frustrated or disillusioned, only to later see how perfectly things worked out. Recognize that each experience of trusting me through waiting seasons builds upon the last, forging a faith that becomes resilient and mature. You learn that delays are not denials, and that silence is not absence. My quiet work in your life often surpasses the visible miracles you seek. Another dimension of patience and surrender is learning to let go of comparisons. Perhaps you see others receiving their breakthroughs sooner. Perhaps you wonder why their walls of Jericho fell after one shout, while you have been marching for days, months, or even years. Remember, that each of you runs a unique race. My plans for you are tailored to your growth, your journey, and your destiny. Comparisons breed impatience and dissatisfaction. They tempt you to question my fairness or my love. But I invite you to trust that I have you on the path that leads to your ultimate good. Your waiting may be longer, but it may also produce a deeper transformation in you. The blessings that come after a prolonged wait often carry an extra measure of grace and spiritual fruit. One practical way to cultivate patience and surrender is through prayerful meditation. When anxiety rises, sit with me in silence. Instead of demanding answers, ask for peace. Instead of seeking solutions, seek my presence. Let the stillness wash over your restless soul. Feel the tension release as you place your burdens at my feet. Each moment of calm, trust you experience trains your heart to surrender more readily. Over time, you build a reservoir of peace that no storm can drain. Another method is to focus on incremental faithfulness. The Israelites marched around Jericho day by day, not knowing which day would bring the miracle. They knew they had to complete the process. They trusted that at some point, in obedience to my instructions, something would happen. In your own life, focus on what you can do faithfully today. Maybe it is praying a simple prayer, performing your work with integrity, showing kindness to a stranger, or maintaining a disciplined habit. Each small step of faithfulness is a march around your Jericho. Do this consistently and watch how, in my perfect timing, I use these acts of trust to bring about your breakthrough. You may also find it helpful to document your journey. Write down your prayers, your feelings, your moments of doubt and reassurance. Over time, as you look back, you will see patterns of my faithfulness. You will recognize that I was guiding you, even when you felt aimless. This record becomes a testimony you can share with others, helping them navigate their own waiting seasons. In sharing your story, you not only glorify me, but also strengthen the faith of your brothers and sisters. As you continue to wait and surrender, remember that this is an act of worship. Your patience praises me by declaring that you believe I am worthy of your trust. Your surrender honors me by acknowledging my sovereignty and love. In a world that values instant gratification, your willingness to wait on me stands as a powerful testimony that I am God above all else. It shows that you are part of a kingdom that is not governed by haste or fear, but by love, wisdom, and perfect timing. Rest in the knowledge that I am never late. My sense of timing is impeccable because I see your life not in isolated moments, but as a tapestry woven together. I know how each thread interacts with the others. I know which lessons you need to learn before receiving the blessings you seek. I know what kind of person you need to become. The waiting is as much about your transformation as it is about the circumstances. I care about who you are becoming. I care that you learn to rely on me, to trust my heart, to reflect my character in your actions. True surrender also involves releasing your expectations of how I must fulfill my promises. I may choose a path you never anticipated. Just as the Israelites didn't expect to conquer Jericho by marching and shouting, you may find your breakthrough comes in a manner completely different from what you envisioned. I might use people you least expected. I might open doors that you never noticed before. By remaining flexible and humble, you position yourself to recognize and embrace my solutions, rather than clinging to your own limited ideas. There is great peace in knowing you do not have to carry the weight of forcing your destiny to unfold. You are not required to manipulate timing or create shortcuts. Your task is to trust, obey, and remain faithful. When you do, you join a long line of believers who have learned that I reward those who wait on me. Waiting is not an empty void. It is fertile ground for faith to flourish. In that quiet space where impatience wars with trust, you make the choice to surrender again and again. Over time, this practice of surrender changes you. It molds you into a person who can find stillness in chaos, hope in silence, and joy in anticipation. You become someone who can stand firm even when circumstances urge you to panic. You become someone who radiates peace, encouraging others to trust in me as well. Your life becomes a living sermon that proclaims the truth. I am never late, and those who wait on me shall not be put to shame. When the moment of breakthrough finally arrives, when the walls of your Jericho come crashing down, you will see the wisdom in the waiting. You will understand that my timing was not only perfect, but also lovingly designed to deepen your faith, strengthen your character, and prepare you to steward the blessings well. You will stand in awe, perhaps with tears of gratitude, knowing that this victory could only have come from me, in my way, and in my time. As you look forward to that day, do not let impatience steal your peace. Impatience tries to convince you that you must have what you want right now or else. But patience says you can rest in me, secure in the knowledge that I hold your future. Impatience may promise quick results, but it cannot match the fullness of blessings that come from waiting on my voice. Each moment of patient surrender stores up treasures of wisdom, faith, and intimacy with me that will last a lifetime. Reflect, too, on how your patience might affect those around you. When others witness your calm trust amid uncertainty, they will wonder where you find such strength. In explaining that you trust in me, you become a light to them, showing that there is a way to live free from the tyranny of anxiety and frantic self-effort. In a world clamoring for instant solutions, your patience and surrender speak volumes about the reality and sufficiency of my grace. In closing, hold tight to this truth. I am never late. Not once have I failed to fulfill my promises. Not once have I abandoned a faithful heart. Not once have I allowed my children to languish in waiting without purpose. If I delay, it is for your benefit. If I say wait, it is because the appointed time is not yet ripe. If I say now, it is because I know you are ready. All this rests on your trust in me, and I will never betray that trust. So, continue to walk around your Jericho step by faithful step. Continue to lift your prayers to heaven, one whispered hope at a time. Continue to nurture a heart that says, your will, not mine. Your time, not mine. Release the heavy burden of having to know when and how. Embrace the gentle peace of surrender. In the stillness of waiting, I am shaping you, guiding you, and preparing the ground for a harvest beyond your imagination. Remember Abraham, David, Mary, Martha, the Israelites. And remember all those who have come before you, who waited, who surrendered, and who saw my faithfulness in the fullness of time. You are part of this great story. Your season of waiting is a sacred chapter, and I, your God, and writing it with loving care. Let this truth settle into your spirit. I am never late. You can trust me completely. When you do, you will find that patience and surrender are not chains, but wings that lift you closer to me and carry you into the promised land I have prepared. In the grand symphony of your life, know that I am the composer who brings each note in at precisely the right moment. I am the conductor who ensures that all instruments come together in harmony. If you try to rush the tempo, you miss the beauty of the music. But if you trust me, if you follow my lead, the result is a masterpiece that transcends human understanding. Embrace patience and surrender. Rest in the knowledge that I am never late, and soon enough, you will see the walls you face crumble at the perfect time. Third, remain alert to the signs of my provision. The blessing may not come in a form you expect. Stay open-minded and observe the opportunities I place before you. Perhaps you notice a sudden increase in your business, a job opening that aligns with your gifts, or unexpected financial relief through a relationship or community resource. When Elijah prayed for rain after a long drought, he told his servant to look toward the sea repeatedly until a small cloud appeared, seemingly insignificant, yet a sign of abundance on its way. Keep your eyes fixed on subtle shifts, a small raise, a kind investor, a sudden debt forgiveness, or a new skill you discover that leads to greater income. Recognize these early clouds of blessing. Fourth, prepare a plan for the blessing. When Joseph anticipated the years of famine in Egypt, he didn't just wait idly. He actively stored grain during the years of plenty. Just as I am preparing a breakthrough for you, prepare yourself to handle it wisely. Make a financial plan now. Consider how you will pay off outstanding debts, build an emergency fund, invest in your education or skills, or perhaps help someone else in need. Setting these intentions now is an act of faith that declares, I trust in God's promise enough to be ready for it. Fifth, guard your thoughts and words. Speak life into your situation. Avoid negative self-talk, complaints, or comparisons. Each time you catch yourself doubting, replace that doubt with a declaration of faith. Say aloud, the Lord is my provider. My blessings are on the way. I am prepared to be a faithful steward of the resources He places in my hands. Remember, your words carry power. Choose them carefully. Sixth, remember to share your testimony. As you approach this significant turning point, prepare your heart not only to receive, but also to give thanks and to share the good news with others. Your testimony will encourage those around you who are still waiting for their own breakthroughs. Just as others' stories of faith have inspired you, your story will become a beacon of hope, showing that with God, nothing is impossible. Seventh, keep serving others. Generosity is a key that opens many doors. Even as you anticipate new blessings, continue to give from what you have now. It may be a small amount of money, your time, your prayers, or your talents. Like the widow who offered her 2 small coins, your act of giving invites my favor. When your breakthrough arrives, let it not only benefit you but flow through you, blessing others and glorifying my name. Eighth, deepen your prayer life. In this waiting period, communication with me is your lifeline. Prayer is not just asking, it's listening, aligning, and becoming sensitive to my leading. Through prayer, I will confirm your next steps, calm your fears, and give you creative ideas for increasing your income or managing your resources effectively. Make prayer a daily rhythm. Start and end your day in my presence, and you will carry peace with you, no matter the circumstances. Ninth, surround yourself with faith-filled influences. As you near the promised time, be mindful of who and what you allow into your heart. Negative voices can sow seeds of doubt. Instead, immerse yourself in uplifting messages, encouraging friends, and scripture that affirms my promises. Standing alongside others who believe will strengthen your resolve and help you remain confident in my timing. 10th, embrace humility and gratitude. As blessings approach, never forget where they come from. Humility acknowledges that every good gift is from me, not by your might or cleverness alone. Gratitude ensures that you will handle what you receive with reverence, care, and a willingness to share. When you give thanks even before you see the full manifestation of blessings, you affirm your trust in my faithfulness. Finally, prepare your heart for the outcome. As the day you've been waiting for draws close, do not allow anxiety to take root. Instead, rest in the peace that surpasses understanding. Release any rigid expectations of how and when I will act. My ways are higher than your ways, and I may surprise you in glorious ways you never imagined. Whether I choose to bless you through unexpected opportunities, sudden financial relief, a steady increase in earnings, or new networks of support, be ready to receive with open hands and a thankful spirit. My dear children, do not be discouraged if your circumstances don't shift overnight. Each step of faith you take is building a foundation for long-term stability and growth. Even as the 30th of November nears, trust that I am aligning all things for your good. Keep pressing forward, remain steadfast, and hold on to the promise I have given you. Your hope will not be put to shame. As we close, let us pray together once again. Heavenly Father, I thank you for guiding each of your children through this journey. Give them patience, courage, and wisdom. Help them prepare their hearts, minds, and actions to receive the financial blessings you have promised. Let them not miss the subtle signs of your provision. May their testimonies bring glory to your name and inspire hope in others. Amen. If these words have brought comfort and clarity to your heart, share them with someone who needs encouragement. The time is drawing near, and I will prove my faithfulness. Your financial breakthrough is on its way, and I am with you every step of your journey. If you found solace and strength in these words, don't keep them to yourself. Subscribe to the Gospel Connection and share this message. Comment Amen if you agree and are ready to embrace the divine timing in your life. Your financial breakthrough is on the horizon, and together we are walking into a future filled with promise and fulfillment. Stay blessed.